I didn't make a name for this class, Kelly did, but I like it. It has a good ring to it. Purple slide, if you're following along. My name is Georgianne Lytle. I've been a retailer for about 2 years, 2.5 years, I guess. I have no finance background, and I have no formal business training. I realize that does not make me seem very credible, but the reason I'm saying that is because I guess most of you are probably the same, right? Does anybody here have like an MBA or finance degree, anything like that? No? Okay, so we're all in the same boat. I guess you can?
We just have MBAs, but we're still here.
Okay.
We have lots to learn.
Okay. But I think that most of you can relate to this. I came into this business having no knowledge whatsoever about running a direct sales business. I'm kind of like you. I'm like a serial entrepreneur. I've owned several moderately successful businesses, but nobody really gives you like a how-to book of like how to take care of your finances, right? By the lens test, if you've done the lens test, I'm green gold. So I have a heavy interest in planning finances and planning tasks and planning numbers. And if any of you are familiar with Dave Ramsey, so financial freedom, right? My husband and I went through that program a couple years ago, and we are debt-free with the exception of our mortgage. So handling our business money responsibly and in somewhat of that same fashion was really important to us. So when we started this business,
Next slide.
Yeah, sorry, orange. So when we started this business, it was myself and my partner. My business partner is no longer with me. It's me and my husband now. But when we started, she is like blue orange. Like, so it was a little bit of a struggle with us in the beginning because I was like, no, we just invested $12,000. We have to like pay all of this off, and she's like, bye. So, but we came together and started using this method right away. I have to say this is not an idea that I came up with on my own. However, I have no idea who to attribute it to. It came to me in the form of a Xeroxed copy like 30 times over in like a written out kind of flow sheet. And I just adapted it to a spreadsheet, which is really easy to use on the computer. But I have no idea who to give credit to. So if it's you, sorry. So we probably not, or you wouldn't be here, right?
We're in this class to you stole our ideas.
So like I said, we've been in business about 2.5 years. We sell about $20,000 a month. My husband just went full-time January 1st. Yeah, exciting, sort of. I mean, like now we're together all the time, so I don't know what's with that. And he's not on the cruise though. We have about 250 to 300 pieces of inventory right now. I'd like to actually bump that up a little bit. And we are all cash, debt-free. So we basically run our business totally by one spreadsheet. If we don't have money to buy inventory, we don't buy it, with one exception. I'll tell you about that later. So I think that this is super helpful for you. Is it? Are you interested so far?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Who has a problem with paying themselves a paycheck? Okay, who has never paid themselves a paycheck?
Be honest.
Be honest.
My wife won't pay me.
Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about how you can do that, okay? Pink, we're going to pink. All right, so why I think this is really valuable for you. I did a quick tutorial on this in a small team page of about 600 people, I guess. And so everybody was like, wow, this is really valuable, super helpful. Like I've never really sat down and put this kind of detail into managing my finances. A couple things about why this is really valuable. It's very, very easily customizable for your business needs. You can make this spreadsheet, and I just use it right on Google Doc. I'll show you, or Google Sheets rather, and I'll show you that later on. You can customize it to, if you want it, we pay ourselves once a month on the 1st. But you can customize it. If you want to get a paycheck every week, you can change it to get a paycheck every week. You can change it to get a paycheck every other week, however.
Every day.
Every day. So it's very easily customizable. You can edit the sheet to determine what you want to spend on inventory, what you want to put away for taxes, what you typically spend for expenses. So what I have up here may not work for you, and that's okay. You can just easily go into it and plug in different percentages and change it for how you want it. What you need to know about this, though, is that it's not an exact method of tracking expenses. So this does not replace your like business accounting of keeping track of your receipts, keeping track of how much you spend on shipping or giveaways and so forth. This sheet will give you an estimate of how much you can and should spend on those things. So this does not replace your year-end taxes, but it will help you when you give all this stuff to your accountant. He will have an idea of where your money's going. The biggest thing this will help you with, and the biggest thing that I think people have a problem with, is deciding how much you should spend on inventory. It's a problem, right?
Yes.
Especially right now, right? Like, oh my gosh, Christie's, Randy's, solid leggings, all the things, buy, right? That's great. It's really good to have new things for your customers all the time. It's not always the smartest way to run a business. Would you guys agree?
Agree.
Yes. Okay. Also, getting ourselves into debt is stressful, right? And we have this business for ourselves I'm sorry guys, my eye is watering so bad. We have this business to give ourselves freedom in our schedules, freedom to spend time with our kids, freedom to have our spouses come home and work with us, right? And when we get ourselves into a place of stress, of being strapped with debt or having a credit card that you can't pay off, it kind of alleviates the reason why we started doing this in the first place. So that's what we're trying to avoid. It also helps you determine what you should pay yourself. And again, I pay myself every month, so at the last day of the month, or I should say on the first day, I go see what is in one column. It automatically totals it all for me. You'll see, hopefully you'll be able to see the video. It totals it all for me. I don't have to decide what to pay myself. It's all there in black and white. All right? Any questions so far?
So I want to say
We're
for
going
Orange,
to...
this is going to alleviate FOMO management. It's like FOMO management. You have to miss out on this, but that's okay because in the long run, all the numbers add up and you're going to get this beautiful paycheck and no stress.
Yay.
So no more FOMO.
Yay. I know I talk fast. Does anybody have any questions yet? Nope? Okay. For you guys that came in kind of later, if you guys can airdrop the presentation to each other, that would be great because we didn't get a projector. Okay, so now we're on blue. Okay, another reason why I think that you guys will love this method is that you don't have to have any special software, you don't have to have any special equipment, you don't pay any extra fees. All it is a Google, I keep saying the wrong thing, Google Sheets, or you can put in an Excel spreadsheet, and we passed around a notebook for you guys to put your email on, and I'll share it with all of you either today or at some point when I can get working internet. So you don't have to have anything extra to run this program. All you need is a willingness to be diligent about tracking your finances and committing to do it every single day. It's not hard to do it every day. You gotta just plug in one number. That's it. Okay? Sound good so far?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like I sound like I'm trying to sell you something.
Do it great.
Okay, purple. All right, so what I'm going to talk about is the method that I use. This is a default, okay? So these are the numbers that we use for our business. Like I said, you guys may look at it and say, this doesn't work for me. I want to spend more on inventory because I'm trying to build. I want to spend less on inventory because I'm trying to decrease. I'm not doing any giveaways this month, so I'm going to decrease my expenses. These are default numbers, but this is generally pretty solid numbers. So, hi. Oh, baby. Like I said, you can customize the sheet based on your expenses and then how often you want to pay yourself. And I will help you because I'm a geek and green. I'll help you build a sheet for yourself if you need to. I'm not selling you anything. I just like to help. Okay, next one is yellow. So, I used to have my inventory amount set at 40%. 2 years ago, or even a year ago, it used to be like 40% of cost, right? Now everything's like almost 50%, so I had to bump it up because I found that I was getting like in the hole with my inventory almost every month. So inventory is 50%. Now this is a 50% of your payment to your retailer card. So this is already taking into account that you're paying fees. You're paying less fee or credit card transaction fees and sales tax. So that's already taken off the top, right? We don't have to worry about that for this. So 50% of the payment on your retailer card goes to inventory. So you're going to put that back into buying inventory every however often you order. And we'll talk about that in a second. Gross paycheck is the next column. Gross paycheck. And this is going to be the other 50%, but it's going to be broken down into a couple of different categories. And this is where I know it's going to be a little bit hard to follow along without looking at something. Stick with me. So from your gross paycheck, it's going to be divided into a couple of different categories. The first category is expenses. That'll be 15%. Expenses will include shipping, giveaways, I don't know, what other expenses can you think of?
Marketing.
Marketing, thank you. What else? What's? Yep, yes, Sunlit or, whatever else you pay for apps.
Subscriptions.
Yep. So all of your expenses will fall.
Do you have assistance in payroll on that?
That's a good question. I will talk about that in just a little bit because there's a few different ways to do it. And then your last category for that is going to be taxes. This is an amount that may vary for a lot of you. If you already have a set amount that you put away for taxes and it's been working for you, I would recommend that you keep that amount, but we put away 20%. So we have a separate account, separate savings account for taxes, and we put away 20% of our income. This year it actually proves to be a little bit high, but if you have a CPA, they will probably be able to guide you a little bit better. Did you ladies back there hear me about the airdrop? We tried to airdrop. You're good?
I got it from.
Okay, perfect. Great. Great.
Keep sending.
What was the expenses percentage?
Expenses 15%, taxes 20%. That's okay. And then your net paycheck is going to be the remaining 50%. I'm sorry. Yeah, your net paycheck is going to be the remaining 15% of that second 50%. Which means, yes.
Does it go this
paycheck.
here or here?
Yeah, under there, paycheck, 15%. So that gets a little complicated for a second because that means your net profit is somewhere around 30%. Because it's 15% of 50%. I know that's complicated. Everybody tracking on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what that means is your paycheck is going to be around 30%. And there's going to be times where you have, some extra expenses if you're going on the cruise, if you're paying yourself to go to convention. There's going to be times where you have some extra expenses and you may not pay yourself quite that much. But that's what's nice about this is that you can customize it to change whatever your situation is. It's not totally set in black and white. Thank you. So your end result is about 30% profit, your paycheck. So we sell about 20.
I know how she thinks.
Yeah. We sell about 20,000, 20 to 23,000 a month, and we pay ourselves about 6,000 to 7,000 a month right now.
She's got it. No, stay. Okay.
You're doing great.
I feel like I need moral support. So does that sound like you might want to get a paycheck like that?
Yes.
Yes. Whew. Very helpful. Okay, so, well, here's my next slide, the gray one. Are you still with me? Because I know that was like a lot of numbers, and especially hard when you're not like actually looking at it on. Looking at it. This is actually what the flow sheet looked like that I got on a Xerox copy like 30 times over. Yes.
Do you do that every time it deposits, or do you do it like once a week?
Okay, that's a great question. I do it every single day. Every day I put my retailer payment on my spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet does all the work for you.
Yes.
That's literally the only, well, no, I take that
But
back.
you let your payment push automatically, right? You
Yes.
don't.
I let my payment go automatically. So whenever it goes in the morning, I go in my spreadsheet and put my number in there, and it puts all the data.
What does that mean by you let it go automatically? You don't click get paid?
I don't hit get paid, right? Yeah. Does it what?
No.
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 Okay.
No.
That is a false never.
I never even heard that
It
rumor.
was a weird
There,
false
there was a
rumor.
rumor that if you hit the get paid button, it takes out higher fees.
Oh.
And that is not true, and that would be inappropriate.
Yeah, I don't think, no.
The get paid button is for fun.
Yes, it is. It is
Yeah.
literally just for you can hear that cha-ching.
Okay, yes.
So is that number different than the field reports? If I wanted to be lazy and just do it on the 15th and the end of the month, could I just look at my field report number?
That is a different number.
Field report is
Your field report has the fees and shipping and all of that taken out of it already. So, you could do it, but it wouldn't be the most accurate way to do it. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. So the way you, but the way like if you sold 20 and 50% went back in inventory, 50%, so like then you're working with 10,000.
Yep.
Well, 15% of 10,000 is only 1,500 per paycheck.
That's 10%. Wait, 15% of 10.
1,500.
The question is, how did, I'm not clear on, we're not clear on where you come up with the 30%.
Okay, because this is only half. So this 15% is
Yeah.
of your entire sales. Okay?
Because
So,
you immediately put half back into inventory
Right.
right off the bat.
right. So this 15% is of your entire sales. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys.
not 15%.
I know. I knew this was gonna be hard too. So I'm gonna show you guys.
Unless you're orange.
It's gonna be really hard for you guys over here to see.
Yeah.
You're orange? Yeah, I'm negative blue and okay. Can you I don't know if you guys
Well, they have that one over there.
Yeah.
yeah, this one doesn't have
Oh.
Oh, the little tab.
this video has sound.
Okay, she has a video that we didn't, because we told us we had a projector, but there
Right.
wasn't one. So if we can, she's gonna try and play it, so you can hear, where she like shows you walks through.
Bring it down to 10. Show them.
Do you want to put like your number up there? Show the number with each percentage.
Okay, hold on. It does work and I'm gonna show you right here.
Put the number there.
Do what?
Put the number there. Show us the gross on Bless of 20.
I'm gonna show you right
The
here.
10
That's what I'm
there
about to
and
show
the
you.
10 there and-
It's all done in an Excel spreadsheet, so it does all the math for you. Let's see. Okay, so this is what I'm going to share with you guys. This is why I got your email. It's a very simple, why do I forget the name of this? Google Sheets spreadsheet, but you can use Excel or whatever it is that you want. I'm going to move it back so you guys can see too up there. This is like a 4 or 5 minute tutorial. You'll see exactly.
And for the retailer card, you can make the percentages whatever you think they should be for your business. I personally have it set at 50% of my Blessed payments go back for.
We're professionals.
Hey, we got it.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Woo! Sorry.
Inventory.
Little team excitement.
And you can change those percentages up here in the formula spot. But I have them set at 50%, so 50% goes back to inventory, and then 50% gets broken up over expenses, taxes, and my paycheck. So expenses is 10%. You can see that formula up there in the little formula box, and then taxes is 20%. 20%.
I've already updated it since then because I started spending way more money.
Taxes is actually considered income as well, but the net deposit shows me what I am going to withdraw from my own paycheck. So let's put a $500 payment here, and it automatically calculates it out to what you're going to put back for inventory, and then what you're going to break out for the rest of your business expenses. So there it shows 25 for expenses. That'll be like shipping, giveaways, mailers, business cards, those kinds of things. I have a separate account for the taxes, and then $180 will be what my paycheck is for the day. So I put a payment in here every day. You put your payment in minus your retailer fees and whatever other expenses or refunds come off of your payment each day. So you put what your actual deposit was onto your retailer card in that box. Then if you go down to the bottom, it's going to calculate out for you a running total of what you have to spend for inventory. So you see here I have $500 to spend for inventory. Let's say I did a warehouse order for $350, and now it shows me I have $150 left to spend. So every day you're going to see a running total at the bottom for what you have to spend on inventory. Seeing that number for me is really helpful, because if I have no money there in that box, I don't spend money on inventory. Was hard for me in the beginning before I started tracking this, because I saw, oh, there's money on my retailer card, I can spend money on inventory. But if the money is not available there in that inventory box for me, then I don't spend it. So, and again, whatever you spend there, it's going to keep a running total. So if I spend another $150, it will recalculate my balance. So that has been super helpful for me. So at the end of the month, what I do is I normally take a deposit to my personal checking account only once a month. But at the end of the month, what I do is I calculate this column, and you can see there what my deposit to my checking account will be. You can set this spreadsheet up however you want. If you want to get paid once a week, then you can make this only for 7 days. If you want to do it like I do, you can keep it for once a month. And I keep a new spreadsheet every year. So I do 1 page per month. At the end of the month, you can duplicate this. Actually, you would create a clean copy, so it starts out with zeros. But so I keep this once a month for the entire year. I keep it right on Google Drive so that it's easily accessible whenever I need to look at it or see how much money I have available. And it makes it really easy to help you with your end of year accounting, which is coming up, as we all know, very, very quickly. It's not 100% accurate.
Okay, does that make a little more sense now that you've been able to lay eyes on it somewhat? No? You put your orders, yep, those are the 2 things you put into the spreadsheet. You put your daily payment, and then you put your orders into it. And then the rest it'll figure out for you.
In the spreadsheet, does it also count anywhere for wholesale transfers if somebody does a takeover, or you do a D-stash or something? Because it probably wouldn't be the same thing, because it's not.
What I do when I sell, like when I do a deep stash or whatever, I put it in my orders column as a plus instead of a minus. And then, a takeover, whatever, I'll track that the same way.
Okay, and you're still looking at what deposits on your retailer card, because you get charged your fees.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna run a number here really quick to try and break it down a little bit more so you guys can see it. Sorry, this thing is very clumsy. Okay, so let's say you got.
Where does the 30% come from? I'm still trying to figure that out in my head, because it shows 15%
Yep.
to pay yourself, 20% to taxes. You're paying more to taxes than you're paying yourself.
Well, so your taxes.
Welcome to the United States.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in
So,
But you're saying 30%, the taxes on there is 20%.
right,
15%.
yes.
30% of the half.
Okay, hang on one second. Okay, we're gonna use a nice round number. We're gonna use $1,000, okay? So let's say you get $1,000 payment on your retailer card, okay? The spreadsheet is gonna automatically calculate all this out for you. All you need to do is put in the number, okay? So it's going to put,
So we're following this, but with real numbers, y'all. Okay.
okay, hold on a second.
Because percentages aren't real numbers.
She's all tell us, put in there.
Okay, so again, you're gonna put your percentages in there to be what you need them to be for your specific business. But for me, mine is set at, hold on, I'm gonna look at it just so I don't misquote myself. My inventory is set at 50%, so if I get paid $1,000 on my retailer card, $500 is going back to inventory and I can order whatever with that, right? So then the other 50% is $500 as well. I have my expenses set at 15%, so that's gonna be $75, right? And then I have my taxes set at 20%, so that's gonna be 85.
I'm a writer, not a math.
20% would be $100.
$100.
I'm a writer.
Oh. And then I have my.
Where did we settle on?
Oh.
Yeah.
65. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
There we
all
go.
good. Okay, we learned together. Good job.
Oliver has
So good.
65.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
You did so good. We learned together, friends.
Teamwork makes the dream
That's
work.
right.
This is why I need a spreadsheet for this.
I like that number.
65. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. So 65% of that is going to be 65% of this is going to be my paycheck, okay? So yeah. Okay. So 325. 325. Okay, so if I decide to take a withdrawal of my retailer card for that day, like Christina wants to pay herself every day, then she's gonna withdraw $325 off her retailer card to go. And now, if you're like me, I keep my money on my retailer card, but then I withdraw once a month, and I withdraw taxes and paycheck. So I would withdraw $325 and $100, and take that and put the taxes in my savings account. Okay, so you do that every single day. Every day you get a payment on your retailer card, you go in your sheet, you put your money from your retailer card, it totals it all out for you. On the two sides of the sheet, it's gonna give you one running total for what you have to spend on inventory. Okay, so now we're gonna do our second day, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that if you find your expenses, like for me, so Georgianne, the only reason why I'm up here is because Georgianne taught me everything I need to know about money. But for me, sometimes this number is not like as a percentage, I spend more than that. So I can either adjust my expenses to make the percentage happen, or you can actually make this a fixed cost in her spreadsheet, and it will adjust, you can adjust everything else as well. So if you know that you have an assistant that's an hourly and that's how much she costs you a day, and then you want to go back and look at the last 90 days of shipping and you want to do hard cost, you can do that with this number as well. So you can adjust it with a little bit of help from Georgianne.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to day 2, okay? Day 2, our paycheck, our retailer card payment is let's make it $2,000 because we sold a lot of things. Okay, $2,000. So we get $1,000 to go back to inventory, and then we get $1,000 to go towards our gross paycheck, and then from that we're gonna take $150, right, towards our expenses. That stays on my retailer card. I don't know what you guys do. I keep that all on my retailer card. I want to keep all my expenses in one place. That's the story for another day. Taxes, $200, and then paycheck is $650.
Yeah,
okay?
girl.
So now at the bottom of your spreadsheet, you're gonna see a total of these two. No,
No, the
that's it for you.
spreadsheet does it for you.
That's what I mean, like you just input that number in that day.
Yep, so at the bottom of your spreadsheet now, you'll see $975 for your paycheck, and then you'll see $1,500 for inventory. Okay, so now I have $1,500 for inventory. I go in, bills and I order $1,000 worth of inventory, so then I subtract, I put my order there in the inventory column minus 1,000, and at the bottom it'll show me you have $500 left to spend on inventory.
So you can know if you can participate in that launch or not.
Right. We're gonna talk about launches in a second.
So really quick,
We're on teal.
so do you then, you said you don't ever hit the get paid button, so do you do this in the morning for the previous
In the morning.
day?
Yep. Yes.
You just look and see what payment was submitted overnight?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so 2 important things you're always gonna know. 1, how much can you pay yourself? 2, how much you can spend on inventory. Those 2 things are super helpful, right? Because those are the things that run our business, right? Okay, so let's talk, before I go on, I have a list of common questions, but I'll let you guys ask me a question first because you might ask them already. Do you have any questions?
How do we get that spreadsheet?
We passed around a list.
Yeah.
We passed around a pad.
Get on the list. Get on the list, y'all.
I'm not selling you anything. It's totally free. I will send it to you. You can use it.
You can customize it. You can Marco Polo.
Oh, I have a question.
Georgiana at 2 a.m.
I don't use Google Sheets. I know I'm bad. So can you access it through your iPhone easy, or do I have to log into a website every time?
No, you can access it and you can actually export it into an Excel spreadsheet and manipulate it there.
You can use it.
Don't change your document into living document.
No, yeah. You can use an Excel spreadsheet, but the reason that I use the Google Drive, Google Sheets, is because I want to be able to get to it, whether it's on my computer, on my phone, whatever. It's just really easy to get to whenever. If my husband wants to place an order while I'm on the cruise, he can pull it up easy and look to see if we have money. So, okay. Any other questions before I go over a few more things? Okay. So some common questions that I get, especially right now, what if I overspend on a launch? Okay. There's a few ways to deal with that because we've all been there, right? You still need to just go ahead and put your order in your spreadsheet. There's a few things like if it's a launch that you know about, then you just say, okay, I'm not ordering for 3 or 4 days or a week or whatever it takes to lead up to the launch to save up enough money. Typically, right now, that's not the way it works, right? Suddenly the launch is happening and we're like, holy crap, I gotta buy all the things. So you just go ahead and buy your launch. Of course, provided you have the money on your card. Put your order in your spreadsheet, and then it's going to show your inventory column is going to be in the negative, right? Because you didn't have the money to spend. So it's going to show your inventory column in the negative. So you just don't order for the next couple days until you get back in the positive there. Make sense?
Yep.
Easy.
And we should all be ordering regularly, so we should all be able to swap with each other now, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if it helps, but I think something that's really helpful as well is you can add it into your expenses of kind of creating a reserve so that when there's a launch, you're not looking at that. So if you just made an order and sometimes the launch comes up and you're like, I just ordered, you have a reserve that's already there. It's not like savings or taxes, but it's a reserve. So then you're not worried about that because you already have that reserve there so that you can
That's
make
a great
that
idea on how you can change this to a hard cost.
Right.
If you know you want to put a certain amount aside every week to start setting up that launch reserve, you can create this as a hard cost instead of a fluctuating percentage.
So there's either spenders or savers. Who's the spender?
Hey,
Who's the saver?
Hey, oranges.
Yeah.
I'm both.
Yeah. So typically, if you're married, typically one person is one and the other person is the other. God forbid if you're both spenders. I'm sorry for you. This might not work for you. No, I'm just kidding. This can work for anybody.
Oh, it's between me and Eric. I'm the saver, which is
You're the
scary.
saver? Okay. Okay, so another question. What if I overspend on my allotment for expenses? Fine, okay? It's totally easy. Even after your spreadsheet is done for the entire month or the entire week or whatever, however it is that you decide to do it, you go into your spreadsheet and you change your percentage calculations at the top of your columns. I can walk you through that. It's very easy. You can also figure out how to do it on YouTube or whatever. If you Google Excel, how to do an Excel formula. It's super easy. It'll take you 30 seconds. So all you need to do is go in there and adjust your percentages for the month or the week, however you do your spreadsheet, and then fix it so that you don't come out in the hole. Make sense? Yes.
On your expenses,
I don't know how often you do things like you order mailing supplies or you order I assume like giveaway things would go in there, and I tend to kind of bulk order like a ton of mailers at the same time.
Yeah.
Are you breaking them up then into like weekly or monthly, or are you just saying like, boom, $200 on Amazon today?
So as you might have missed this one, this is just like an estimation as to what I'm going to spend on expenses each month. And so it's not like a precise method of tracking expenses. What it is more so is like, how much can I spend on inventory and how much can I pay myself? So this is just kind of figuring out, like, typically in a typical month, what does your business spend on expenses? And so you'll still have to track those things and keep receipts and whatever. And you may have a time, like we're doing a big March Madness giveaway right now, and so it's like my giveaways are going to be whatever, like $500. And so this month I might want to go in there and adjust my percentage to account for that if I don't have enough in there to cover it. Just so that when I go to pay myself, there's enough money there, you know.
Right, because
Does that
as
make
you
sense?
adjust this, it's going to naturally change this. So like if you overspent and you say, okay, so I want to make this now 17, it's going to adjust these because 100 equals 100, yes? So that's why I was saying, if you are that kind of person that needs, I figured it out and I want a hard number, you can put a hard number in here and then adjust these.
Yes.
What did your percents look like when you were working on your debt, trying to clear out that 12,000 so quick?
Oh yeah, tell me
So
that too.
I did this same exact thing. The only difference was that everything that would have been my paycheck went to debt. And for us, debt it looks a little bit differently because we took it out of savings, like we didn't put it on a credit card. But if you did put it on a credit card, then you would take your paycheck and pay it towards your credit card. The exception to that would be if you are trying to pay yourself and pay a credit card. Yes. Which in that case you could decide, like, what do I need to pay my own personal expenses for the month. Either way, you have that number of what you're going to pay yourself, and so you can decide for yourself how you want to pay, divide it towards your credit card and then your paycheck. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes?
What about payroll?
Okay, that is something that I don't have a 100% answer to. We have 2 assistants, they're 1099s, so they're, not employees, they don't get payroll. So for me, I have decided to take my assistant's pay out of my paycheck. So my my paycheck column, at the very bottom I have 2 additions there for my 2 assistants, and then they're just subtraction fields, and I keep track of what I pay them throughout the month. Our assistants don't make that much, like they're 2 very part-time assistants, and so we might spend like $800 in the month. So I just subtract that. If you're an S-Corp and you have payroll, my suggestion would be to talk to your CPA, and they can tell you the best way to account for it, whether it's going to be overall expenses or salary. Sorry, that's not super helpful.
No, I used the wrong wording. I do the 1099.
Well, I'm the only one doing it, so it makes sense to me.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Okay.
Can they adjust this number to include?
You can really take it from where you want it. It makes sense to take it out of expenses. I just started doing that from the beginning. I didn't really know what was the right way. I just kind of said, oh, well, it makes sense to take it out of what I'm going to clear at the end of the month. Because to me, like, the assistant for us was a little bit of a luxury. So I thought, well, I'm just going to take it out of my own money. I don't honestly know the right answer. That's just the way that I do it. It makes sense to take it out of expenses, too. So you would just have to account for that, and what you put there is your percentage.
And how do you plan and budget for travel? Like here.
Okay, that is actually on my list. So whenever I have a large expense like convention or going to leadership or something like that, I end up taking those. I account for them on my spreadsheet, but I also end up taking those out of my end of month, paycheck. Again, I don't know if that's the right way to do it. You could build it into your expenses if you wanted to. It just made the most sense to me to just take it right off the top. So, again, no finance training. So,
this can also be used for goal setting, like what Georgianne taught me. So let's say that hey, it's going to cost me this much to travel, and I want to raise that money in 3 months. so I need this number to be 500. You can continue to manipulate this number here until these match your goal. So let's say I don't want to make $325 a day. Let's say I want to make $800 a day. I can continue to manipulate this number until this shows up, and then I know this is what I need to spend every day. This is what I need to sell every day.
Meaning you
To
can
make
put it
the
into your
numbers I want.
spreadsheet as like a hypothetical scenario.
Yes, exactly.
And it'll build
It'll
the
goal
numbers
set
out for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you go, it's going to cost me $1,000. So in 90 days, I need to sell an extra $333.33.
Wow, look at you.
And so, bingo! It's the only one I know. And then you can manipulate this until this equals $658.33.
Okay, who, just a show of hands, who plans to pay themselves weekly? Okay. Who's going to pay themselves monthly? Okay, who has no idea what they're going to do?
Every other week?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
so. Okay, so the reason I asked that is that it's really super simple to customize this exactly for what you want to do for yourself. So I have my sheet so that has 31 days. All you have to do is make your sheet so that it has 7 days and just, make multiple copies of that sheet. Super easy. The formulas all stay the same. It's just going to be a smaller list of payments. You already asked that question.
Those that haven't made a copy of Google Sheets.
What's that?
Those that haven't made a copy of one before, file.
Yes. Yep. You can duplicate the sheet. So I do mine once a month, obviously. And then I keep one sheet per year with multiple pages in it. But you can set it up however it makes sense for you. It's super user friendly. Okay, so
Who is the assignment for?
I think
over here.
We need it back.
Has it been back here yet?
It's been around the room with ours.
Yes.
So to take over and you're paying that retailer, that's coming out of what you have set aside for buying units.
Yes. So I will put that in my spreadsheet as a negative. And then I just put a note next to it, wholesale takeover or whatever. I do like a lot of album sale takeover, so I'll just put in there album sale and the date and put it in as a negative, whatever I have to pay that retailer. So whatever your inventory costs are, you put in that column. Or if you sell, you also put in that column because then that's money you can spend, right? So if you do a destash and you sell 30 pieces, then you get money towards inventory, you put it in that column so that it adds for your running total. Yes.
Use your sheet to track IPAs or anything like that? I'm just wondering if that's something extra that you add. Like, I know some people have said that they will make a list of their IPAs and how much on average they make off of that IPA, and that's how they can figure kind of their schedule and hit goals and stuff. I'm wondering if you do any of that, or if it's just as simple as this is whatever I did 10 IPAs today, this was the total.
I don't. I use Blessed for that.
Okay.
I just make new pop-ups and Blessed for that.
Okay.
And whatever it is at the end of that day, it's all gonna go in the same payment. Excuse me. If you do hit that get paid and you end up having multiple payments in one day, all you need to do is just add them together and put them on the spreadsheet. Or you can add an extra line in your spreadsheet, whatever makes the most sense to you. Easy.
So you don't hit the get paid so that you don't have to sit there and add up a bunch of different numbers. That way it's just one number, one payment
right.
at the end of the day.
Right.
Okay.
And also because I'm wrangling 5 children and I don't have time for that.
I'm sitting there all.
Do you know exactly why the field report number is different than that? Because I was curious what makes it different.
The field report specifically doesn't account for shipping. That number will be in your payments.
Oh.
So because you get that money,
to pay
right?
the shipping off.
Yeah, right.
Or your credit card fees, like your credit card fees get taken out and that's of that number. Your bill report is just
Yes.
the $35 you sold or the.
Got it.
You said it doesn't.
Well, that one's not in expenses because it's already taken out of the Blessed payment.
Right.
So when you start with your Blessed
But your
payment.
shipping is, right?
Oh, your shipping is an expense, but your credit card fees aren't out of the expenses column because they're already gone.
Credit card fees are expensive.
But they're already gone
are,
before you
right,
put the number in.
Yes.
Okay, girl.
Can you hold that for 1 second because you just brought a thought to my mind. A lot of people have asked how to deal with shipping. Like, do you put it in expenses or whatever? I personally don't, I don't like fine tune it that much because it just hurts my brain. So I do account for shipping in my expenses, because even though it's in my payments and I'm receiving money for it, I still spend more shipping than I collect, you know what I mean? So, always. So I don't separate it out like that, I just keep it together. Yes?
What about, I have a lot of local shoppers who use the envelope cash system, so they pay me in cash.
Yep.
Like legit cash.
Yes.
Which freaks me out.
That's a great
Nobody
question.
says that. So how do you divide it, or how do you account for that on the spreadsheet?
So that is a good question, and thanks for bringing that up, because if you do get a cash sale, you will have to add it into your payment on your spreadsheet, because it will not be accounted for in your blessed payment.
Even if you check them out as cash, it doesn't account?
No, it does, but what I'm saying is when you hit get paid, it's going to say, let's say you, right, it takes the cash out. So when you look in your blessed payment, you'll see that cash accounted for, but when you put it on your spreadsheet, you'll have to add that to your blessed payment to account for it in your budget. Because otherwise you're shorting yourself money. Hey, I'm sorry, 1 second. Does that make sense? You look a little confused.
I'm confused.
I was just wondering about like where it would go in versus like the percentages, or how, just put it on the. Like,
All you need to do is just put it in your payment. That's it.
do that.
Okay, so let's use, hold on 1 second. What? Same with PayPal, yes, same with PayPal. This is
So your
one of the
blessed
reasons.
isn't true if you did cash, even if you check them out as cash.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah,
Let's use real numbers.
Okay,
So
thank
if
you.
your blessed payment, if your payment to your retailer card says $500 and you took a payment of cash for $50, you need to put on your spreadsheet $550. Yes,
So I just processed a payment, okay?
Okay, so
And she can show you where it says it.
so it's a
I didn't do cash, so you could see where it would come out cash.
yes. Okay, so at the top here it says cash payment. So if you got a payment to Bless on your retailer card for $500 and you took $50 cash, that's still in your orders, right? But so you would need to put on your sheet $550, because otherwise you're shorting yourself money.
Oh.
This though is the reason that I don't deal with PayPal. I do not deal with PayPal. It makes my brain like want to explode. I can't deal with it. It's just another place to track things, right? Like yes.
So if I'm keeping
It would
the cash,
taken out right there.
I need to subtract it from my paycheck.
Yes.
I just
That's
pushed
right.
the payment just
Yep.
to show that.
I'm sorry. Did you? Okay.
I was just gonna say, my CPA noticed there was a ton of cash, because I do a ton of in-home shopping. I'm 5 years in the business this month, so, I have a huge local following, so, my CPA said, you're missing thousands of dollars, where is it? And I was like, well, every time I got a cash payment, I kept the cash. He's
Yeah.
like, you need to deposit that.
Yes.
So for you,
Keep that in mind, because it looks like there's thousands of dollars, and it's
Yeah.
really, there's not.
right. So for you, what you'll want to do is if you take that money and put it in your like personal checking account, you need to account for that against your paycheck, like she just said. Or you need to just put it in your business account, and then all will be even. Okay.
And the cash sales are not on the My Funds, like what we used to do the EOI, because he was like, you're missing like this huge amount of cash, and he was like, going crazy. I was like, oh, that's my cash sale.
They're not
Yeah,
on your.
no, it
your
doesn't transfer over.
That it should be in your. It should be on your.
But not in my.
On your sales report. If you download a sales report for the entire year for last year, it should be on there.
But if you're only using My Funds, it's not going to be on there.
My Funds, yeah, the My Funds, and he was like, why does this not match? This is a huge amount, and that's, and he freaked out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really speak very intelligently on that. I have like 1.4 local customers.
1.4.
One's a baby.
Size 2 leggings, you know. So small, medium.
Okay, what else? Anything else? Did everybody get to put their email on the notebook? Okay, I will attempt to send those out while we're still here, if I can get my internet to work. And I'll also email you a copy of the presentation too, if you want to look at it again. I know it's like really hard when you're dealing with numbers
I
to
think
not
this helped.
see
You did
something.
really good. Yeah, this is good.
I have one more question. So as your sales have increased, are you finding that your recheck percent is going
It's pretty consistent. I'm usually between 30 and 35%. And I feel like most people, when they hear that, they feel like it seems a little bit low because they're like, oh, we only pay 50% for our inventory. We should be making 50% profit. Actually, 30% is a really, really solid number. It's really solid. So if you can consistently pay yourself 30%, even really like 28 to 35%, you like patting yourself on the back. Yeah. Yeah.
And as your sales go up, your expenses are going to go up. You're probably going to need help to maintain those numbers, which means this is going to go up, and that will all then balance itself out in the spreadsheet.
But I just want to like encourage you, and when you start doing this, it's going to feel like I don't have any to spend. I don't have any money to spend on inventory. Just like stick with it. Just commit to doing it for a full month, and be like, if I don't have money to spend on inventory, I'm not buying it. And get one of your your significant other, your Lula accountability partner, get somebody to say, Kathy has said to me, like, nope, do not buy those Carolines, girl, you just bought all this stuff. So just get somebody to hold you accountable and don't do it. Stick to it a month, and at the end of the month, you're going to see that column and you're going to go, oh my gosh, I get to pay myself, and it's going to be wonderful.
I just want to point out, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know how you're kind of mentally dealing with, and hopefully this just not to get better anyway, how you're kind of mentally dealing with the warehouse restocks, because they're not launches, you don't know they're coming.
Yep.
And so what I find myself doing, like I'm sure everybody else, is ordering something that I don't really want that's kind of on like my D list of inventory to order because I need something coming through the door.
Yeah.
And then what I do want is restocking, and I'm over ordering, and then I'm stashing like $7,000 at one time because it's so much extra inventory all at once. I mean, the spreadsheet sounds like it would kind of account for that, but I would see that number go like super negative, and I would feel defeated.
Yeah, we had a little bit talked about it in the beginning. I think it really is like a lot of emotional ups and downs right now, but I think that just having it in black and white just really helps to keep you accountable to like, okay, I can go a little bit over my inventory budget, but I can't like get crazy because it's going to take me such and such a days to get that inventory money back. And when you at the end of I didn't say this yet. At the end of the month, if you're $1,500 negative on your inventory budget, it's got to come from somewhere. Where's it coming from?
Your paycheck.
Your paycheck. So like that's no, not taxes. No. Don't want to go to jail. It's coming from your paycheck. So if you like look at that and you go, I'm gonna have to take this $1,500 out of my $3,000 paycheck, not ordering it. Like it's just, it does. I mean, you have to develop a discipline of doing it for a long time. Like people have just been like order, like because like you said, it's like a frenzy, right? Yeah. We're just like, oh my gosh, we have to buy. You just stick to it. Do it a month, see what happens, and at the end of the month when you take your paycheck, you're gonna be like, this works.
I think that's also the time where we all have to start depending on each other. So let's say your A thing is Cassie's, right? You don't have the money to order. What you need to do is you need to find somebody who has abundance in Cassie's right now. Maybe that's their D thing. And you're going to go over there and you're going to grab a big bag of Cassie's. You're going to take it to your house. You're going to go live with it. You're going to make outfits out of it. You're going to do all the things you would normally do from it. And then whatever you sell, you wholesale transfer, then you're okay because you're actually you're not really technically pulling. You kind of made the money to pay for it. So at least you're keeping your engagement. At least you're keeping your activity. At least you're keeping some sort of sales going. But like just depending on each other and doing swaps, and you don't have to just burn that box as in wholesale off to other people. Like just trade, swap, take styles, take sizes, do takeovers with each other. Doesn't always have to be the order from the warehouse. We can help each other right now.
You had touched at the beginning on, you said there's one exception and I'll get to it, and I can't remember.
It was launches. Yeah, overbuying for a launch. Yes.
Kind of tying into what you guys were saying about fear of missing out, relying on each other. Georgianne and I have a system. I told her not to order the Carolines because she just ordered Jesse's and we shared them because I didn't have the inventory money to order Jesse's. So I ordered the Carolines and we share them, and it helps us sell through them and it helps us be done and not go over our inventory budget. And she's way better at it than I am.
We partnered with a bunch of people that had an abundance of Carolines. We didn't get as many as other people. And it was so weird because when we did this kind of group collaboration and we
sold,
all
like,
posted our
25 more.
Carolines at the same time, I ended up selling my own Carolines that they had seen 10 times, but they were so excited and we were like, rush the retailer, hurry up before they all get it, you know. It's about making that community, not just in your VIP community, but all of us and regrouping in that sisterhood again and not being in that competition with each other, but in that sisterhood with each other.
And logistically, that sharing is in a round robin or picture posted.
Yes. So we just showed our Carolines for a couple days and then swapped the pictures that we had left over and then sold a bunch more. So, yeah, yes.
So I was just gonna say, there's a lot of, there's a mindset that if you do one IPA a day, that's all that you need to do. Like one income producing IPA per day, that's all you need to do to boost the whole time. There's a lot of retailers and several, I've already attended 2 trainings this week on the boat where people are stacking income producing activities where you don't have to be the face of your business. They are things that are done in the background and you can pay someone to do so you can make money while you are doing other things. And so there's a ton of unused IPAs that can be done, you know, to produce that income instead of, it is a ton of work to order a boatload of inventory knowing full well that
Yeah, for sure.
your customers are never going to buy that much. And so if you can buy what you believe they, and this is what a lot of the empowerment teach about, Jessica and Tana Brown, we teach a lot about that. Buy what your group wants.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe just a little bit more, but buying way too much and then doing the full time burn is a major waste.
This will prevent that. Like,
Yeah, because you're not gonna buy it
you know
unless
what
it's
you,
yours.
because you already know on here what you have sold, you know what you can buy. And like for me, I'd rather sell out of it than me looking at it.
Yeah. And I don't want to sell 90K to make 100K. Why? So my necklace turns or whatever? No.
Shannon.
I was just gonna say what you said. Like I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, and every time I order, especially with a launch, I order with the mentality I want to sell out.
Yeah.
I don't over order to have stuff like with St. Patrick's Day. I have like 13 pairs left, and like that. And if I sell out, and then I have friends that I can go to and be like, "Can I post your stuff?"
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather sell out of what I have, not be in the negative, and then I'm good to go. Like
And I feel like
this
I've
and you'll know
trained,
what you can buy.
yeah, I feel like I've trained my group for this because I'll typically do like an interest post, okay? Like St. Patrick's Day is coming, who wants it? And if I only get 10 people, then I'll order 20 pairs of leggings and they're like, oh, why do we have any St. Patrick's? You didn't say anything, so I didn't order any, sorry. You know, so, yes.
So your giveaways and all that, you put that in your expenses, right?
Right.
How do you keep track of that? Do you ring it through Bless or do you keep it on a separate spreadsheet? Or?
I do ring my giveaways through Bless, yes I do. I have a separate customer named Giveaway.
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
just, yeah.
So then are you, but I feel like I do that, but then I also forget about the wholesale of it to take it out of the expenses and then use it to replace. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
does.
that lives in a gray area.
Well, I think, yeah, I don't have a great answer for that. I mean, I think generally if you for 3 months sat down and looked at what your expenses are as for your business, as in, you know, shipping, mailers, every single thing that you spend that's not inventory. If you look at that for 3 months and you say, okay, this is, you know, 10% or 15%, that's really what this is. It's just a tool to keep you on the right track. It's not like, okay, I have exactly this much to spend on expenses this month. So
You can also like open up a pop-up for like annually. So for example, there's a lot of ways that you can utilize the pop-ups in Bless. One of which is like for your returns. That's not listed
yeah,
on your 1099.
I have to, yeah.
So you could do one pop-up annually that is returns only, and then
Yep.
you can calculate your taxes properly with that. Same thing you
Correct.
can do with giveaways. You can do if you pay yourself weekly, you can create a giveaway, a weekly pop-up for just the giveaway pieces that you put into your system for giveaways weekly. If you plan on paying yourself weekly.
should-
to keep track of everything. Like, this is how much I sell just doing lives. This is how much I sell just doing wall drops. This is how. So you don't have to do it by individual pop-up. You can do it by category.
But if you haven't started it yet, because of the way the end of year reports were done this year, you need to have a pop-up for this year for wholesale sales. For sales, so that way when you go do your taxes next year, you just have it all in one place.
I want to go back to what you were saying about stacking IPAs too. If anybody here
I
is,
think that's like outside of this.
oh,
Sorry. Sorry.
Do you do this on a personal level? Just curious. Do you do this for your your personal budget?
I don't. I do financial piece, so I use cash envelopes. I do a budget every month, and I take cash out for almost everything that we spend money on. And so it all goes in individual envelopes, and when the money is gone, it's gone. And it might be gone when I get home because my husband's in charge. So, yes,
I have
Jen.
a question, and you told me this already, but just for peace of mind. So I'm trying to scale my business and go, and I've gotten a lot of advice from people who are in that next tier of me, that looking at my numbers right now with my customer base, because my customer base has gone up, and, but they're like, you're not, maybe if you increase what you're ordering, because I'm selling out. So is there a scalable version for that? I'm not saying I'm gonna go crazy and order like what the Hindus are gonna order. But I'm saying I'm just gonna slightly increase it.
Well, there's a couple things. Number one would be if you were going to increase your inventory over a month, let's say, then you would want to just adjust your spreadsheet. Okay, this month I'm going to spend 60% on inventory instead of 50%. Or you can go in and manually change your fields for each day. So let's say you got a $1,000 payment and you want to put $1,000 of that to inventory, then you just change it. You put $1,000 in the inventory field and the rest is zeros. So you put that towards inventory, but you just don't get paid for that day.
Well, not taxes.
Well, yeah. I mean, does that make sense? Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
On that same line, you can change the percent to grow your inventory. You can also take it down to eat inventory.
For sure.
You've got to get a bigger paycheck one month.
Yes. Absolutely.
Ding ding, smart.
Yeah, I am kind of in a wacky place with inventory. I downsize so much that I'm like, well, now it's hard for me to scale my sales upwards because I have 150 pieces. So, so now I got to go the opposite direction. So next month I'll probably be doing that, making the adjustment to spend more on inventory because I probably want to get up to like 400 or 500 again. I know. Does somebody else over here have a hand up? Anybody? Can you raise your hand if this was not the most boring thing you've done while you're here? Because, I mean, it's math. I mean, I was like, all these guys